am Tisha,
I'm Loren.
and this is the Open Booked Podcast. Today, we are talking about the fifth book in the From Blood and Ash series. What is it? A Soul of Ash and Blood?
A Soul of Ash and Blood, yep.
Whew, could not have guessed that right another time.
No, you nailed it.
As usual, obviously we're going to spoil it, so this is kind of your warning. We'll talk about, other things going on in the world first, and then once we get into the book, we are going to obviously spoil the book for you. So you can stop listening when we say like we're diving into the book or we're getting into the meat and potatoes, because a lot of times we might forget to say that we're spoiling the book or whatever. So I just decided to start doing that at the beginning, so everybody's aware. Most people know, but just in case.
I fully support this. That's a great idea, because half the time I'm like, okay, we've rambled for 40 minutes about current events. Let's actually talk about the book now.
Yeah.
We actually have a couple of other books we're talking about today too, right? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
One is Tangled Up in Tinsel, and one is Tangled in Tinsel. We'll explain when we get there. We had some confusion, so we're covering both.
But very similar name, obviously, but very different ends of the spectrum for a book. Not at all what I would have expected from the first one, and then a lot more of what I would have expected from the second one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was kind of good to get a little like both sides of the coin, I guess. But before we get into all that, what are you reading?
I just finished the second one, the Tangled in Tinsel, this morning, and then I'm getting back into the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore because I didn't realize there were 3 in that series. So I read the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I'm going to read this one and then do the, Christmas Tree Farm?
Yeah, and my favorite of the 3 was the Christmas Tree Farm.
Okay. I don't know. I read a review on either the Cinnamon Bun or the Christmas Tree, and one of them said they loved the other 2 in the series but didn't love that one. So I can't remember if it was this one or the other one.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they're all pretty cute. I mean, I'm not going to give them 5 stars, but I genuinely enjoyed all 3 of them. So I don't really have any complaints. I just finished Tangled in Tinsel yesterday or the day before. And I'm now starting on our book we're covering next week. Can we spoil it?
What it is? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's called How My Neighbor Stole Christmas by Megan Quinn. So far, banter's really good. I'm just getting started. I'm on my Kindle, so it'll take me forever because I don't have time to actually read it. I like to listen, but so far, very cute banter. Yeah, I like Megan Quinn.
I know I like her too, but I'm trying to think of what other books she wrote that I loved.
There's I read one about a baseball player, and then I read one about a Highland, like a Scottish guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see any of them.
Maybe it was before you started tracking, or did you start tracking immediately?
I think I started tracking pretty quick, but who knows? I know I've read a book of hers, at least one, but it's not showing in my bookshelves, so I don't know.
Well, maybe this will be your first, maybe it'll be your 10th, and they're gone on a invisible shelf somewhere.
Who knows?
Oh, goodness.
Is it just the one?
Next week that's the only one we have on the list, unless you...
Okay, good.
We want to switch it up. Yeah.
No, that makes me feel better, because I was like, but is it... I thought it was on
That's
Everand,
the week
too.
After.
Oh, okay.
It's... No. The week after, the one's on Everand. But this one is just on KU. If I get down to it and I don't have time, I'll probably use my Speechify app to finish it. That's what I did for Tangled in Tinsel. I started it and I was like, oh crap, I'm not going to have time to like sit down and read this. So I was like, I'll use my Speechify app and finish it in like 2 hours. Very short.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, after that, I'm just going to keep with the Christmas vibes probably until I'm sick of it. Find some random books. We have quite the next few weeks planned out for you guys. So, lots of holiday cheer and then into some romantasy.
Yes.
Okay, do you want to get into current events?
Yeah.
I have 3 major ones that I feel like need to be talked about, but since we have so many books, I'm going to try to keep it short. We have 3, and the books as well, okay? Because 2 of them are novellas and one of them's a retelling. So that's why, if anyone's wondering why the hell are they doing 3 books today, we were just going to do A Soul of Ash and Blood, but it was literally 2 pieces of new information, which I have noted. We'll get there. And then Tangled Up and Tinsel and Tangled and Tinsel were both like, 200 pages? And just like cute little quirky stories, but not like a lot of meat. So we're like, fuck it, okay?
There's a lot of meat, but...
Good one.
Oh, yeah.
First and foremost, I want to acknowledge that we unexpectedly saw each other yesterday, and it took me 5 minutes of Tisha waving at me. Not just Tisha, her husband and her children too. And I did not see them. I had 0 things to drink. I was like, and then my mom, she's just like me. And we're like, where are they at? Anyways.
Yeah.
That was funny.
In her defense, though, she wasn't wearing her glasses, so she couldn't see.
I forgot my glasses, so I was pretty much the blind leading the blind there. But oh well. Okay, let's get into some drama. Number 1, I want to talk about the Hana Kobayashi Hawaiian girl that went missing. Okay, there was so much that happened this past week. I don't know if we're gonna get anything else at this point. So if you guys haven't been up to speed, long story short, to summarize, this woman, I say girl, she's a grown woman. She's, I think, in her mid to late 20s, is going to New York to visit her aunt. She had from Maui, had a layover in LAX, didn't make her connecting flight. Her ex-boyfriend who was traveling with her did. He left her. She was on standby for several days, going back to the airport around LA, seen all over the place, still communicating, but her communication was very weird and raised some flags for her family. So then her dad, everyone, they file missing person. She never makes a flight. No one hears from her. She sends a really cryptic text about some like spiritual awakening or something of that nature. And then her phone drops. She leaves it at the airport. We now know. She leaves her phone at the airport. Her dad comes to town. Family, they're all looking for her. Pretty much flyers with the LAPD, everything they can. And then all of a sudden her dad ends up unalived. Himself, supposedly, off of a parking garage at LAX. Which I'm really torn on this because I think either he got really close to something and was pushed, or if he genuinely thought there was no hope and did this, and now, knowing what we know now, this is the saddest thing ever. Because she's alive, she's well, she's in Mexico, they've dropped the case, and LAPD is like, this is just a grown woman who wanted to run away. She did so legally. There's nothing we can do about it. Period. There's no case. So that was the thing. Good.
I thought the statement that officer made that a grown woman can just decide to disappear was so odd.
Yeah.
Like,
that tells me they were getting pressure.
Vibes. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that they're getting pressure because this is such a big case, especially from like internet sleuths. They're probably like, there's more to this. But I think I just figured out that there was some sort of illegal citizenship marriage scheme.
Yeah.
So I guess she met this guy, and this guy, I don't know if it's the same guy that she was seen with on the subway and all that I talked about. That guy was found within like 2 days and has been cleared this whole time. The internet's just like freaking out about it. Apparently, everything he said checked out. They were able to prove everything, and he is not a suspect or any. Obviously, she ran away. She purposely left her phone, bought a bus ticket, went to Mexico. Has been seen in Mexico alive and well. She even made a post on Facebook, apparently, about wanting to disconnect from like modern life and stuff like that. And so I'm like,
Hmm.
why was no one talking about this? I guess everyone just wanted the drama of like a
Yeah.
kidnapped or I think she still might have joined a cult. Yeah, I mean for sure. But
Yeah.
I do think she willingly ran away. She went by herself to Mexico. But they're saying she married some guy about how she saying she lost her money. They're saying she married some guy as a money like he was going to pay her or
Mm,
something to get citizenship because he's from
yeah.
Central or South America, I can't remember.
Okay. Yeah.
And he wanted citizenship. They supposedly got married, but I'm like, this is public record. Like, I don't know if this is assumptions. I haven't had a time to like Google the court docs, but
Hmm.
you know, you can. And
Yeah.
but that's like the latest guess is
Hmm.
that she did that, got scammed out of the money she was supposed to get, and then just ran away to Mexico.
Hmm. Very possible.
But the dad is the biggest puzzle piece for me that doesn't fit right now.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's kind of like the proposal. Like, you don't want to tell your family so that they can't be complicit in a
Mm-hmm.
crime. But at the same time, you got to give people a hint that, like, hey, our relationship's not on the up and up. So, like, just don't talk about it. If you're asked questions, just don't say anything. And if I go missing, like, don't worry, I'm fine. Like,
Yeah.
that's so weird
Yeah. No, it
and
is
really sad
weird.
for the family.
Well, and the other thing I was going to say is the thing that solidifies kind of the cult theory for me
Hmm.
is the mom and sister had a Facebook group. Like, you know, anytime someone goes missing, they make a Facebook group, like, help find this person. Like, they've done it
Hmm.
for every big case, okay? So they had this Facebook group and they were getting death threats and getting, like, really mean and hateful comments and stuff and messages, and they had to take the group down. And I'm
Oh my
like,
gosh.
what? No one would do that unless there's something else going on, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I
It just
mean,
seems weird.
depending where the guy is from or who he's associated with, that he can even afford to pay her to marry him for a green card. I wonder if he's not involved in like a cartel and that's where
That's
it was coming from.
that's a thought because she went to Mexico, and
Hmm.
that's where the cartel like is. So
Hmm.
yeah,
So many
no, I
unknowns.
don't. So many unknowns, and I don't know if we'll ever know because they're not
Yeah.
investigating it anymore. But knowing the internet, they'll keep investigating.
Oh yeah. Meanwhile, I finished watching the John Benet Ramsey documentary.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And I have changed my opinion. I don't think it was the family anymore.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Like the DNA doesn't match, but it could have been tampered with because there were God knows how many people in the house before the police even taped it off as a crime scene. Like she
Like
had to be
20
found
at
before they
least.
even, yeah, that she had to be found before they even like, oh, maybe you guys should get out of the house and quit tampering with evidence. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, they're still investigating it. It's a cold case, but it's still an active investigation. And there are still people out there tracking down all these leads. But I really think it was the guy that like wrote the letter and to the like journalist. He was emailing him for like 4 years and wanted to speak to Patsy, the mom, before she died. And like there's so much to it, and he was not convicted, but he was had many reports against him for child um predatory behavior. And he was a freaking teacher in another country because he had too many reports against him, so he fled the US, but he lived in Atlanta, not far from the Ramseys. And then he
Wait,
moved
the Ramsays lived in Boulder, Colorado, right?
when it happened, but they had a home in Atlanta too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which they had to sell because of all of the legal crap because they wanted it investigated. So they hired investigators and attorneys. And I mean, they had to fight for like 2 years to prove their innocence and then had to fight again to prove their son's innocence. And I'm like, this family went through the freaking ringer.
Yeah, there's a few things that are unexplained to me still. If the family's
Mm-hmm.
not involved, like the exact amount of the dad's bonus being on the ransom note,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was
and
really
then
weird.
There was a handwriting person expert that came out like after that documentary and was like, I'm confident that handwriting was the mom.
Yeah, it looked similar in some ways, but I don't know. I don't think they did it, but I think they knew about it, or like, I don't even really know. Like, maybe they saw whoever was like trying to take her and something happened and she died or hit her head or whatever. So then they had to make it look more dramatic for this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was all weird.
And the stomach thing with the pineapple, right? Like, there's so many unexplained things.
Mm-hmm.
This is my opinion. This is a personal opinion. I do not want it to be sued.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, I think the little brother did it. And I think they were trying to, and it was an accident. And
Mm.
like you said, make
Just
it
like
more
covering it up.
dramatic.
Yeah.
Covering it up because there's so, but I also heard about the DNA thing that none
Mm-hmm.
of these DNAs are full profiles. So they're not enough to rule anyone out or rule anyone in. So it's all like
Mm-hmm.
reading between the lines because they don't have full DNA profiles. That's what I read. I don't know how true it is.
Yeah, there was a thing in like 2016. This panel of people basically came in, reviewed everything, and said, these are the things you need to do to continue the investigation. And the Boulder Police Department will not release that basically like itinerary of things that they need to do. And there's no one saying whether they're acting on those or not. So it's like, so wasting more taxpayer money to hire this panel to come in and say, hey, this is what you should do. And this is, kind of where we are and what you can do to confirm or deny any of that. And then not doing any of it, possibly. So it's so
Yeah.
weird.
The dad said, like, it's pretty much reading between the lines. He's blaming the police department.
Yeah.
For it not being solved. He thinks that they have what they need to solve it, they just haven't done it.
Yeah. And
So he
I mean,
probably
after
knows more
watching
than
it,
us.
yeah, I'm sure. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of my, this is kind of a funny side note. I used to always ask my mom these questions that she didn't know the answer to, and she would say, like, I was like a little kid. Write it down in a book and ask God when you get to heaven. That was like the thing, right? One of my questions, I shit you not, was who killed John Benet Ramsey? Because my parents watched a lot of like
Mm-hmm.
I probably saw this on what's America's Most Wanted or like
Mm-hmm.
Unsolved Mystery, all those shows. Like
All
my
of them,
parents
yeah.
watched all of those, and so I probably saw that and like was like, man, who did that? And that was one of my things. Like I want to know. It still bothers me.
Yeah.
I'm sure it
It's
bothers
sad.
thousands of people, but yeah, it is sad. There was another huge thing. The United Healthcare CEO got clapped at 7
Mm-hmm.
a.m. on a Wednesday in the middle of Manhattan in front of his hotel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
On
going to
his way to
start
the
by
shareholders meeting.
on his way to the shareholders meeting that still fucking happened. They didn't
Mm-hmm.
cancel it even though the head honcho just got clapped in front of the doors. Y'all, I'm going to tell you how divided I am on this. I'm so divided because number one, guy was obviously a piece of shit. Do I think anyone should just deserves to just die? Pedophiles, yes. Others, I don't think you should just kill people. Okay, I think
Mm-hmm.
yes, you should be able to kill pedophiles, and if anyone wants to come after me for that, I will die on this hill. You should be able to kill people who harm children. Period. You should not be alive if you have harmed a child. I don't want you in jail because I don't want my tax money to go to feeding you. I want you
Mm-hmm.
out of this earth. Okay. Moving on. Here's the facts of what's going on in his life. I learned this morning. Him and his wife have been separated for years. He has two teenage boys, and he has been the CEO for a while. He is in an active lawsuit
Yes.
with two families ganged up against him. Both of them had family members die because claims were denied. Let me be more specific on these claims. I'm pretty familiar with insurance for what I do for a living, and I can very plainly say United Healthcare is the worst insurance of all of them. I will say it, okay? And the doctor had filled out, there's a piece of paper about medical necessity, okay? The doctors had filled that out on both of them. These insurance people aren't doctors. They should not have the authority to disagree with a doctor. That's what bothers me about insurance. They will
1000%.
deny claims based on that x-ray didn't look right, or, you didn't do this or this. You're not a fucking doctor. Who are you to tell doctors what they did and didn't do should be covered by insurance? It just bothers me. Anyways, long story short, they had this care that they needed. Life-saving care. They couldn't get done because insurance denied it, even though the doctors wanted it done. So he's in that. Also, I'm going to throw Nancy Pelosi's name in here. I don't know if you've heard about this. He is on the witness list for a freaking trial that Nancy Pelosi is in, getting charges against her Department of Justice for insider trading. He is also being investigated by the Department of Justice for insider trading. Now, that being said, that's the facts of the case. He got clapped. Oh, the last thing I forgot. The gunman, by the way, he's hot. Book Talk has said it. He's hot. It's fine. Move on. So, the bullets, there was 3 of them, okay? Had things engraved.
Mm-hmm.
Had like deny.
Defend,
anyways. Depose. Okay. There was a book called Deny, Defend, some other word. Depose was not the word. Mm-hmm. They traded out that word depose. I Googled depose because I know of it as like from the Johnny Depp trial, people who got deposed before. Mm-hmm. It also means to dethrone. Ooh. So that was intentional. Okay. Very intentional. Here's the biggest theories on the internet right now. And then at the end, I'm going to say which one I agree with, and then I want you to say which one you agree with. Okay. Number 1, this is the first theory. He's a hired hitman, and somebody big hired him to take him out. Now, I'm going to state the facts of why they think this. The gun he was using was actually, I know a lot about guns, okay? It was a very, very unique gun. The head of the police department for New York had never seen one in his entire career, okay? Very rare gun. Had a suppressor, so it was quiet. And also, there was a lady standing right next to the gunman that he didn't even blink or see. He didn't care. It was very clear. He had an intentional target. He had the mask, the hood, the backpack. He was on the bike. Shoot, go away. He was there was no doubt that it was an intentional hit. Oh, yeah. So people think he was hired, okay? The second theory is that, yes, he was still hired, but he was hired by the man himself. And they think that. There's actually a lot of people that think that. Their evidence is the reward for finding the gunman from New York is only $10,000. They said the police only do that low of a reward when they already know what's going on and they want the public to think that they need help. Or so they don't get a public uproar. This is $1 million family. This is a New York City police department. They could do millions of dollars in rewards. But they're doing $10,000. Not saying $10,000 isn't like a lot of money, because for most people it is, okay? But for this family, that's chunk change. So the fact that they're only offering $10,000, people think, okay, that's a little fishy. Then, with all the investigations and facts and shit that I stated before, people think that he was doing that to take care of his wife and kids. Because he knew, shit's about to get ugly. If I just... And the other evidence is there was a 10-minute window that this guy didn't have security. Okay, number 1, why would someone who's been receiving threats, per his wife, by the way, receiving threats, walk in the middle of a city without security? He would have security 24/7. He's a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company. He would have security.
Under investigation.
Under investigation while getting death threats. That is also, they're like, okay, this could have been intentional. He could have lost his security or told him, meet me here at this time, come out of his room early. You know what I mean? Like, he could have lost him. Now, the last theory I've seen, tell me if you have any more theories after this. was that this is like a kid or a grandkid of one of those two families in the lawsuit, or someone who's had a similar situation to that, and just practiced, trained, and took matters into his own hands because shit wasn't changing. Now, as far as when he shot them, my first glance was, okay, this guy knows what he's doing because the gun malfunctioned. And he did exactly what I would have done if my gun malfunctioned. I know how to use one. I'm not professionally trained. Okay, I have my concealed carry. I know what I'm doing. I've been around them my entire life. But that being said, he did exactly what I would do as a street trained person. An expert said a professionally trained, so someone who's been in the military, police, or even competition shooting, a hitman, I don't know, they would have handled the malfunction differently. So there's a lot of people that think it's just some vigilante justice because he didn't handle the malfunction the way a professionally trained person would. Also, he didn't do like 2 shots in the chest, 1 in the head. I think that's like the standard for people like that. I think he just shot him 3 times in the chest, in the back, front back. But yeah, so which theory do you think?
I don't know. I could see any of them, honestly. Like, but I really just knowing freaking government and all of the crap. Like, how do they ride their bike into Central Park and then just disappear and nobody can locate them? Like, it's definitely a hired hit, and I'm betting it's somebody that he was about to just send up the river. Like,
yeah, this is my theory I just made up. Okay, now again, guys, these are not what we're saying happened. These are theories.
Yeah.
I think this guy is some vigilante, but there's a higher power that took advantage of a vigilante situation and is pulling the little puppet strings. Do you know what was in his fucking backpack they found? Did you hear? Monopoly money! Why is that hilarious? I'm sorry, it's funny. Why?
I mean, that's what a UHC policy is worth, so.
That maybe could. I mean, it's obviously intentional. This guy's an author or something. Like, there's some Easter eggs. Like, the shell casings, the freaking Monopoly money, it all has to mean something. So, anyways, I thought that was hilarious. I think took advantage of the situation with a guy who lost his grandma, grandpa, because the guy's young, okay? Yeah. I mean, it could have been a parent, but this guy's like our age. I would say maybe even younger.
Yeah, I'd say late 20s.
And the only reason they have his picture, I don't know if you heard this. The only reason they have that picture of him smiling at the gas station that morning is because he was flirting with the girl was like, "Oh, like you good looking. Let me see that smile." So he pulled his mask down and smiled at her. And so that's how they have that picture, is he was flirting. And so that's obviously hilarious. You guys are listening to us. You're on Book Talk. Girlies be obsessed with this guy right now, so.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyways.
I was just looking. I saw the FBI did offer $50,000, but
that's new.
Still nothing compared to what he was worth and what he's worth to the defense in whatever this court trial was. But yeah, what do you know? A politician is about to get away with more racketeering and insider trading and just make more money off of the backs of people that actually like work for their money.
Yep. I'm shocked. Yeah. So there's that.
There's a lot of internet sleuths, like the people that actually find out all the information. They're like, no, we're not going to help. Sorry about you.
Yeah, they're like, you have to meet your deductible first. And I'm like,
and then did you see how all of the CEOs are like coming out, like Blue Cross and Blue Shield, because they just did that stupid fucking anesthesia policy?
Oh, they pulled that shit back.
They're like, actually, we want all of our clients to be happy and healthy. I'm like, yeah, because that means you make money
Mm-hmm.
when you're not having to pay out policies or premiums and deductibles.
Yep.
Just collecting.
Yeah, no, I kind of at first thought it was related to RFK because, we're not going to get on either side here. RFK has made it a mission to take down the FDA pretty much and anyone who supports the shit they put in our food. Which no matter what side you're on, you should get behind that. I'm sorry if you disagree with me, but if you look at the food that we are allowed to eat that's banned in most other countries, it's just common sense that we need food reform in America. Or you go eat in another country and like everything just tastes fresh and better and you're like, what the hell? It's because what we're eating's illegal there. So my kind of thought was, okay, he's going to come after these insurance companies too because he's just wanting to reform the whole system.
Yeah.
And obviously Trump put him in that position. So come January, guns ablazing is what it sounds like. So that was my first thought. It was related to that. But the more I've looked into it, the more I don't think it's related to that. But worth mentioning.
Yeah, I think that's what pretty much everybody thought initially. And then you kind of hear more about what he's under investigation for and what he's about to do. And they're like, oh, shit, this was a hit. Okay. This was a political hit.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we'll see what happens. It sounds like the police have this guy's name. They're not releasing it, but they just released that they know his name, they know where he's from and whatnot. That was like yesterday. So if they know that, they're gonna find him within a day or two, I think. Unless he completely like is out of the country, which he might be. Who knows? He could have rented a private plane under a fake name, got on a boat. He could have done so much. But I guess they saw him on a bus to Atlanta. So they're like, the Atlanta PD's now involved.
It's quite a trip, though.
Yeah. He like immediately got on the bus after ditching the backpack in Central Park, is what the video I saw said.
Yeah, I mean, he had to have it planned down to the minute, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
When you're using public transit.
Yeah. And then a bicycle, yeah. Yeah, the last piece of news is Sabrina Carpenter apparently got cheated on.
Piece of shit.
That is what the internet's saying. I don't know that it's confirmed, is it?
She said that it was that.
Oh,
she had proof somehow that he had cheated on her with that
Brecky Hill.
Something. Yeah, she's a wannabe lookalike somebody on TikTok.
She looks like Livy Dunn, who's a famous TikTok and gymnastics star for LSU. But Livy Dunn is, I just learned this about her when I saw this post about the cheating scandal, that she's apparently like a very popular OnlyFans girl. Like very rich from OnlyFans. And she's like 21.
Well.
Also, can we say that guy's fugly?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just glad you agree. Because I look at him and I'm like...
I never... No, because did you watch Shameless?
Mm-mm.
I feel like he looks like the guy from Shameless that, there's a throuple in Shameless. And
there's a throuple. Don't even get me started on throuples. I'm so triggered.
And the girl, they think she's cheating, but it's actually her husband who's like from Russia. And I think he looks just like him. I thought it was him at first, but he's a lot older.
Okay. Interesting. Well, the internet's coming after him, so I'm sure he's not gonna make it much longer without saying something.
Yeah.
He may have, and I haven't seen it, but I haven't seen him respond to any backlash or anything. Should we get into the books now? Think we talked enough shit?
Yeah, I'm ready.
37 minutes in, and we have 3 books to cover. Let's go! Buckle up, buttercups! First book, A Soul of Ash and Blood, which is the 5th book in the From Blood and Ash series. What were your thoughts? Did you like it?
I didn't. It was Like, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it either. Like, there is a little bit of valuable information in there, but I feel like it's so droning when you already know what's happened. Like, come on,
Yeah.
get to the good part.
Yeah. I felt like the entire book we were waiting for Poppy to wake up.
Yeah.
And this was just a filler. I genuinely think this was you signed a contract for so many books, or not ready to let go of the story, or something. It has to be a contract deadline because there's another book. So it's not like it's the story,
Yeah.
I'm going to read my notes of the new information that we got from this book, which is not much, okay?
Mm-mm.
Everything the cast said, I kind of assumed. The only thing that was kind of a shocker to me was which this kind of changed from books 1 through 3. 4 is when it started to change, was how he talked about how, like, he walked in on Kieran having sex with a girl and they were talking about joining, and then he talked about he slept with men and women. Like, that wasn't ever portrayed in the first 3 books, so maybe this was just something added later, but that just kind of surprised me as new information. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, apparently they've had threesomes before, so Poppy wasn't the first. Cool.
Makes more sense.
Yeah. Okay, so Millicent and Big Bro Malik show back up, finally. The thing that surprised me was that Millicent doesn't know that they're heartmates. That was the note that I made. I assumed they knew, that they both knew. So it shocked me when he said, like, he hasn't told her she hates him. I think there's more to that story, and I'm hoping the next book is actually about them.
Yeah. I think I might like that more.
Yeah. We need a break from them, from Poppy. Cass and Kieran. I'm like, sorry, love y'all, but the other thing, the end. This is my note. The end. WTF did Cass turn into at the end of the book?
Yeah, that. What was it, like an ancient cat?
Wolf thing.
Yeah. That was weird.
Because of their little bond, he could use her god power and turn into something like Kieran. But why do you think the Revenants are still with their boss bitch dead? Why are they still coming after Poppy? That was my question from this book. Why do they want her? She killed their boss. Like, who do they serve?
Maybe there's a whole other person that we'll find out about later.
Yeah, that's probably it. That's a good theory. I also wrote, her silver eyes are kind of creepy. Question is, does she remember? Kind of a cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah.
Which I feel like she always every book she's left on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, do you think she's gonna remember?
Thinking of it now, I forgot.
Wasn't my favorite. Not my favorite, no. I'm hoping she remembers, because if not, it's gonna be the next book's gonna suck, in my opinion. But yeah. That's the question they're all worried about. Is she gonna remember who she is, or is she just gonna wake up and be a god?
Yeah.
What if she wakes up, doesn't remember, and then falls in love with Kieran, not Cass? Plot twist.
That would be wild.
Oh well, just a thought. I don't think I'd be happy with it, but
no.
Okay, should we go up to Tangled Up in Tinsel?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll explain the mishap. Okay, I had saw this book all over TikTok or somewhere, Tangled in Tinsel. And we were talking after the pod last week and making our schedule for all the holiday books we're going to cover, and what we're covering in through January and all of that good stuff. We said Tangled in Tinsel. We both were like, sweet, it's on Everand, so we can just listen to it. We both, you listened to it first, right? And you text me, you're like, it's going to be super quick for you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I start listening, and I was like, wait, this is not spicy. This is Hallmark. The one I was told about was 5 chili pepper spice.
Yeah.
And so then we started laughing and realized it was the wrong one, so we just decided to do both. And like Tisha said, they're exact opposites. So Tangled Up in Tinsel was a little mystery. Apparently it was the 6th book in the series, too. I don't feel like I missed the other 5, but
no,
whatever. So what did you think?
I definitely thought it could be a standalone. I thought it was initially. It was a nice little whodunit. The weirdest thing was Gramps, or what was it, Pops, or whatever she called
Yeah.
him.
I literally texted you too and was like, wait, is that a ghost? And you were like, yeah. That was the weird, because it took me like half the book to figure out he wasn't there, that he was a ghost. Did her
Yeah.
boyfriend know
No.
that she talked to ghosts? That was the thing that was it was weird to me too. Also, my complaint with this is I like whodunits, I like mysteries, I like all that. They have to give you clues about the killer. I don't feel like she gave nearly enough clues for anyone to be able to figure it out. That's my opinion.
I feel like I figured it out maybe halfway,
You
two-thirds of the way
figured it
through.
out?
Yeah. Yeah, just because of the way she talked.
The friend, yeah. I definitely figured out the mom was like over dramatizing her sickness. That I like 100% was like, yeah. That I figured out soon. Who actually did it? I just didn't. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't pick up on the clues then. If you did, I probably just didn't. I read it too fast.
Yeah, I think I was listening mostly in my car and I had to slow it down a little bit because something about the audio makes it sound too high pitched and I can't, like, my brain can't process it in my car.
Mm. Yeah, it's the faster they go, the more high pitched it sounds. Why
Hmm.
is that? That's weird.
I don't know. Maybe it's like the chipmunk effect.
Yeah, I bet it is. But any other notes on that one?
Not really. That was so short and quick.
Yeah. The next one was short and quick. Yeah. Tangled in Tinsel. This one was spicy.
Spicy,
Not
spicy,
much
spicy.
plot. It's mainly just Dick.
Sex. Yeah.
Um,
Lots and lots and
I
lots.
Why choose is not my favorite trope. I think we've talked about this. I just don't love a group sex setting. I'm sorry, it just doesn't appeal to me. Now, if it does to you, by all means, go off. Just not my thing. So I definitely struggled through this book. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't realize that it was a gangbang. I'm using that
Yeah.
term because that's literally what it is. I say that playing video games a lot, and Jesse's like, that is literally not what's happening to you, and so I can use it in a setting where it's true. Um, yeah, so, what did you think? Did you like it?
Very, very spicy. I liked it. But yeah, there was no like plot to it. I was surprised kind of at the ending. I didn't figure they would go for that, but um, I mean, once she left and they were all like, why didn't you stop her? I was like, oh, okay, that's how it's going to end.
See, the thing I think it would have been better for me is if they would have just left it as a one-time weekend.
Yeah.
Because in my head, her, like, at the ending, we're spoiling the ending, guys, she has, like, 4 boyfriends? Like, okay,
So weird.
I'm just gonna throw this out here. One woman cannot keep up with 4 men's sex appetites. You cannot convince me that is possible. It is not.
No.
Okay? Like, you're not gonna convince me. I don't care if the best sex scientist in the world tells me it is. It's not, okay? I'm a woman. I know, okay? I thought that one of them was going to stand out. I can't remember which one's name, but the one that she was saying was like so intimate with her and took the bath with her and that,
Jace.
like the sweet one, Jace. Yeah, I thought she was going to end up like just fucking all of them and then ending up with one of them.
Yeah, that would have made sense.
But the fact that she ended up with all of them doesn't make sense to me because I just don't understand how that works. I can barely keep up with one man's dishes, laundry, doctor report, like all that shit, okay? Like, you expect me to believe she can keep up with 4? No.
Yeah, no.
But it is, a book, not real life, so you gotta remember that.
Yes. Yeah. It is someone's fantasy, though.
Yep. Yeah. I'm sure it is. Mine is a big, cozy bed, unlimited books, unlimited Oreos, um, naps. I'm skinny. I look how I want to look without having to work for it. I mean, yeah. Maybe I should write a book about that. Yeah. Any other notes on this one?
No. Again, short and not a lot of point to it other than dicks everywhere. It's like that meme where you just throw all the hot dogs at her face.
Literally. I hurt for her. Okay, my last note. She fell asleep. The first, like, who the fuck does that?
I don't know. I guess if you had been awake for like a long period of time, but it didn't seem like she had, so I don't know.
It was just a
Unrealistic.
yeah, just a little razzle dazzle in there, I guess. Yeah. Okay. That's all I wrote. What about you? Anything else?
No, I had like no notes on any of these just because
A little bit.
there wasn't much to any of it.
Mm-hmm.
Other than I had a note about Ghost Grandpa too. The
fuck? Yeah. So that's why we ended up with 3 books today, to still give you a normal amount of episode, your weekly dose of us. Yeah, I don't really have anything else, so I'd say we can put a pretty little bow on this thing in Christmas spirit.
Yeah. Yep. So go follow our socials. Be sure to tune in next week. We put out new episodes every week. And like she said, we're covering Megan Quinn's How My Neighbor Stole Christmas next week. Yeah, I don't know what to expect with that one. So I guess we'll see next week.
Yep, it will be fun.
All right. We will talk to you guys later.
Bye.